Hey ladies, I'm popping on in. We had some technical stuff going on. I was planning, I'm hoping that you can hear me nice and clearly. I was planning on coming in via Zoom, but for some reason it's not picking up in Zoom. So I want to make sure that you are receiving me live. Yep, got it. Cool. And hopefully we've got Helen there. I'm going to bring Helen in. Hopefully... Guest request. Allow your viewers to request to join you as a guest in your broadcast. Yes. Okay. Come and join us, and hopefully I can figure out how to add you in here, Helen. So let's have a look. Give me a moment, ladies. I'm just going live. Say hi as you pop on in. Hey, Melanie. Great to see you. Awesome. I'm trying to find you, Helen. Laura. Hey, Laura. Oh, there we go. Bring them on camera. Add. Okay, Laura. Helen, hopefully that you've got that signal coming through.
Hey! You did it.
Yay! We did it. Awesome.
Exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Ladies, as you come on board, say hello. Really give the love on for Helen, who's popping on board with us today and really wants to join in with the sisterhood and share. Many of you know Helen, who is just an absolute master manifester of what's been going on and been on the journey right from the beginning, from 3 years ago, basically. And also invited many of you, including you, Karis. You're here because of beautiful Helen. Hey, ladies, Karis, Laura, fabulous. So, Helen.
Yeah.
I've got you here. Okay, I don't know how to. I want you to be the shining star of this.
I'm happy to sit up here in the corner, Katie. You stay there. That's fine.
I've got you up here in like this beautiful, my thought bubble. Hey, Ramella, lovely to see you. So I thank you, ladies, for showing up, and if you come and catching the replay, put down #replay. I want to deliver some amazing value. Hey, Cindy, some amazing value. Just drop in the flag wherever you're from, because it's always fun and interesting to see where all our sisters are from in this wonderful sisterhood. And you know, it helps us to connect with you a little bit more and really get a bit excited about where we're all waking up and having coffee or kicking back and having a wine watching the interview. So, Helen, you popped into my inbox again the other day just to say, oh my God, you know, all this wonderful stuff's going on. And it's just been like a joy and a pleasure to have you on the journey and witness you and help you spread your wings and flourish and fly. For those of you or those who haven't yet met you in your story, before you go and just give all the great victories, because I think sometimes while the victories are really exciting and they show the possibilities, what really allows people to connect with it a little bit more is the story behind it and maybe some of the struggle to that strength.
Sure.
You know, what you've been through and the learnings you've shared. So do you want to just share briefly, you know, how did you get connected with me and what have you done in the form of, doing the programs and the connection, and why that's been so fundamental and purposeful to help you go from where you were, I don't want to give anything away, where you were at to where you're at now and on the journey along the way.
Well, I met Katie in probably around 2008 at a speaker training with Sean Clark, and she stood out then. That's when she was doing her global butterfly journey, and we became friends on Facebook. And I just watched her, really, and watched what she did, watched all her travels and all the famous people she'd met, and be like, oh, God, that girl lives the life. And anyway, I'm a mum, I was a wife, and... yes, and thought I was living a pretty good life. Then we moved to Bunbury in 2015, and my children left home. And I looked at my husband, and he was a lovely guy. He was a really nice guy, but I was so not happy, really not happy. And then I wasn't living in my own truth. We lost a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money. We couldn't get jobs. We were both high income earners, and we couldn't get jobs in Bunbury, and that started getting desperate. And basically, I just felt lost. I missed my kids. I'd also had trauma back in 2003 where I had an aneurysm and survived, and I had recovered from that neurologically. So I'd constantly been working on self-development and doing different things. But this time I realised that I wasn't living in my truth at all. You know, you can't stay with someone because they're a nice guy, you know, and if you're not happy, and relationships can be destructive in all sorts of ways, or they can be violent, or they can be, you can be with a narcissist. But, you know, my husband wasn't either of those. It was just, we'd outgrown each other, and it takes a lot of courage to walk away from that, especially when you're broke and you, what are you going to do it with, you know, trading paper planes. But anyway, Katie popped up with her amazing story and started her massive what did you call it first up? It was massive momentum? Massive
momentum in story.
Yeah.
It's now Soul Goal Academy.
Yeah. So, and she started up with this amazing idea and put it out there, and I'm like, oh, I'm in. You know, I'm in. I so needed something, and I couldn't afford anything. And anyway, she had a really good introductory price, and I was in. And oh my God, she got me out of my story. Oh God, we talk shit. You know, you don't realise how shit you talk until someone gets you to listen to yourself. And I was so stuck in my story, like poor Helen, and all these things I wanted, and I just needed to love myself, and I just needed to believe myself. And then so I used to teach people how to reinvent themselves after trauma. So I just had to walk my talk. So I went into real estate because my son thought it was a great idea, and some other people suggested it to me in the worst market ever. You know, I started real estate in Bunbury. I just need to believe myself.
Sorry, I had you double feedback.
In a new town, in a new industry where I didn't know anybody, and then I engaged with Katie and did some one-on-one mentoring as well. And I have a master's in HR, so to me it's like, oh, I have to know all this legislation, I have to know all this stuff to be really good. And Katie's like, oh, for God's sakes, Helen, people just want to buy your energy. They don't give a shit what you know about houses. And I'm like, oh, okay. And as long as I knew someone who knew the answer to the questions, and I had, you know, years and years of experience supporting me in the office. Hear me?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I just got out of my own way, and I just focused on the energy exchange with people, and I kept my energy up, and I started going to women's networking groups. I was really honest about my story. I was really courageous, and it gave me wings. And then just going through the programs with Katie, and manifesting the money and going each step, and it was investing in myself. It was just, oh God, voicemail, sorry. Everyone's just trying. I just, you know, I left my husband and nearly 2 years ago now, and we're great friends. We'll never get back together, because not only did I change my story, but I changed my language. I changed the way I spoke, you know, which was huge. How we perceive life, how our beliefs are formed through our experiences. You know, we're carrying beliefs that we've had for decades. You know, half the time if you go back, you can't even remember where that bloody belief came from. You know, and yeah, so just changing my language about everything, about just being kind and being true to myself. Be kind, be true to myself, and setting goals, and then not just setting a goal, having a pathway, and then getting out of, you know, getting away from the how it's going to show up. Just keep, you know, doing your daily rituals, changing your daily rituals to match the life that you want to live as well. And so I just kept doing that. But then, anyway, I've been sort of off the radar a little bit, but I still do my reading. I still listen to my podcasts. I still check out on the Facebook page. I still what everyone's doing. I'm still connected to most of my girls that have been through, or still working with Katie Joy. And then I just looked at what I've achieved, and I thought, in the worst market ever, I've got a solid client base, I get referrals, and I actually made it into the top performers for Ray White in January in the state for sales, which is pretty hard when you're
listening. Give her some love.
So when you're in a regional office, that's not, I'm competing with like the Vivian Yaps and the Chris Jonkers and all these people that are like amazing in real estate selling $1 million properties, and I'm in, little old Bunbury, and and I just love it. And I probably had my best 6 months lately than I've had in my whole career. And I thought, and I just noticed I don't get caught up in stories. I don't always get it right, but I don't beat myself up for it anymore, because every day is a new day to start again. And it's really important to just be honest and true to yourself. Get yourself a good mentor. Katie's amazing. Yeah. And you're welcome. And she really will help you get out of your bullshit, basically. Because it's all a story. It's all this shit we make up in our heads. The program. And once you can break that program through repetition. So if you don't get it right the first time with Katie, it's probably because you're working out of your head, and you're trying to process everything and be like Katie and look at the other girls in the group and go, wow, they're getting their dream jobs and they're manifesting this money and I'm doing it, but you're in here. You got to get in here. Like Katie said, you got to get into your heart and just keep doing it and trusting that you'll just look back one day and think, oh my God, I've changed so much. And you're at peace. Like you get this amazing peace. Like I have an incredible peace. And just knowing that, when contrast shows up, that you learn how to dance with it now. Like nothing freaks me out anymore. I don't get the anxiety that I used to around when crap shows up. And, especially in my industry, working with people in buying and selling homes, it's such a stressful time. I even don't get caught up in their stories. I'm like, okay, well, what's the solution, and let's work together. And people really appreciate that, because they just, they want someone to pull them out of the chaos and show them the pathway to get to where they want to go. And that's my job as a professional. And that's what Katie does for us, is she pulls us out of our chaos and puts us on the pathway to show us where to go. So I just wanted to let Katie know that, since when we started with you, 2015, is that that momentum is still building. And for some of us, it'll come really fast, and for some of us, it might be a bit slower. But then all of a sudden, it'll just start showing up on a regular basis. And that's what I found now. Like I sold another house this week. I sold 3 this month. It's just ending today. And
that's awesome.
I know. And I don't even have that, got to sell a house anxiety, because I'm too old to sell my body. But it's like, yeah.
I'm not sure we want to change that program. That's actually probably a high-serving program.
Yeah. So it's just, I just thought it would be really important to get on with Katie and just celebrate her, celebrate myself, and just share. And if any of you girls are sitting back there, look, don't just face the fear and do it anyway. And because, the most valuable investment we can make in life is in ourselves. And if you've got crazy around you at the moment, and crazy comes in the shape and form of, children, and all the people that are dependent on us, because we wear so many different hats, and we don't have to fix everything, but we can help guide people. We can help build their emotional toolkits. And but if we're not looking after ourselves, we're not looking after anyone really. So just put yourself first. Don't be scared to put yourself first. And if shit's not working out, have the courage and the strength to walk away, because the best things are on the other side of fear. And I think the older we get, the more we realize that too, and the more we see it, and especially with social media, because people share all the time, which is nice. But that's probably.
Well, thank you for that. I didn't expect that to be a lot of like loving on me there.
No, that's right.
But thank you for that. And I appreciate that. I really do. And if someone's watching or listening, and maybe you've been in this business for a while and looking for that connection, at the moment there are actually a couple of opportunities to work with me one-on-one in my self-alignment package to get you the balance of alignment. Clear a lot of the energy blocks that are holding you back and creating those sabotage, the struggle, the falling short of the goals. And that's ultimately because there's subconscious programming that is not connecting. It is not connecting, supporting the goals that you want to create, because the programming from 0 to 7 has been, that's what you're familiar with, and that you've come to model about how you do relationships, what you're conditioned to be as a woman, what you're conditioned to be in a job or a career, how you're conditioned with money, how you're conditioned with food and your body and health, all of these freaking programs, right? And the thing is, we've got our conscious mind and subconscious mind, and the conscious mind is what we use to create. But in this day and age, when we are so information overloaded and so overwhelmed, often very stressed, juggling all these balls, and then in the program of putting everyone else's needs first, what happens is our conscious mind gets disengaged, and we go back to all the old programming that we were modeled with, that we know and familiar with, which is why we tend to go back into the struggle. It's hard, and the fight, and the conflict, the drama, and the chaos. And that's because if you've grown through any dysfunctional or addiction behaviour in the family, or abuse. And abuse isn't always the most obvious covert aggressive abuse. It could be something as simple as emotional neglect, which is abuse, and you familiarise that as so much as normal behaviour, but you'll know that it's dysfunctional in your world if you are people pleasing, if you're perfectionism, if you've got any language going off in your head where you're judging yourself. That is self-abuse. That's violating your own personal boundaries emotionally, repeating the programs that you're not enoughness. Does that make sense?
Oh, so much sense. Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
my specialty is, I mean, if you haven't met with me before, most of you know my story, but like, I'm an ex-paramedic, and I'm also been on my own personal journey of not only witnessing in my career with the domestic abuse and violence. I've gone through the whole period of being massively successful in my life, but then kept attracting, due to programs, allowing myself to attract partners that would reflect those same subconscious programs that were familiar to me. So I would keep reiterating those until I burst through that, and then I realized, oh my God, this is the key. This is the key for women who want to do business but they're struggling, women who want to go for goals in professional or personal career, right, or personal life. That's the disconnect. It's the subconscious repression of these programs, and there's a big key one: guilt and grief. Those are your biggest blocks. Guilt and grief. And so the Awaken Woman program that I have, which is the first step before the massive momentum mentoring in the Soul Goal Academy, that goes to giving you the energy tools to align yourself, clear that grief, clear the guilt, clear all the emotional blockage, energetic plumbing. So you get into balance and alignment, and you've got the blueprint to create the dream map, and then we've got the Soul Goal Academy for that massive momentum as well. I am going to be opening up a new program, a collective group program, to do it in the group environment when I get back from Bali. I'll be promoting that one. Bali's 2 weeks away, not even that, next week. We're all up. So that's going to be amazing. Hey, Sue, nice to see you here.
Yeah, hey, Sue.
Melanie says, so true, wisdom with age. Awesome. And Kay Simpson, nice to see you. So that's really awesome. So, you know, I'm so proud of you, Helen, and watching what, no, you kind of glimpsed over, you've made it very information about what you went through. And yes, you have a great relationship with your husband. And a big part of that, would you say a big part of that is because of the skills you learned in the programs of how to communicate with yourself and with him?
Oh, absolutely. Because, you know, with Katie is that I'm a strong woman, you know, I'm a strong personality. I'm tall, and it might be a little bit chubby. And so I have a presence, a natural presence anyway. And I've always been in management positions, so I have a bit of an authority. So people tend to listen to me more than tell me, you know, the truth. And we want someone who tells us the truth about, you know, everything can be nice, you know, as women, is if we really support ourselves in a kind and loving way, and you know, pull each other up when we see a friend going into story or getting on the emotional roundabout and getting stuck on that. So I Katie did that for me. Like she saw how I would regress back into old patterns and come up with defences and just really and not look at you know, a really good one, Katie, was making a decision based on a memory of the past or a vision of the future. That was a huge one for me. So then I started, when I needed to make important decisions, even little decisions, I started making them with an intention focused on the future, not the past. Another thing I realised through reading the resources and stuff and Shift Happens is that I was dysfunctionally independent because my whole world looked like it was wonderful and everything was organised, and whereas inside I was in pieces. But then it was the stories around all that dysfunctional independence. It was just all the reasons that we give ourselves why we have to stay, or we have to wait until we have more money, or we have to. And when I thought about it, oh no, I can't afford that, or I've got to do this and I've got to do that. God, I managed to move into my dream house. I didn't buy it, but I'm renting it with nothing. You know, I transferred from agencies, one agency to another, in a new town, in a new industry, in a new profession, and, you know, doing better. The other agency closed down, you know, so it was a bit of a forced transfer. So there's nothing we can't do. And when I think about it, you know, when the kids had come home and go, oh, Mum, I've got a skiing trip that's going to cost $4,500. You're like, oh, woohoo, great. There goes my new car or whatever. But you always find that money. But do we find it for ourselves? No, put that holiday off.
When you set the intention.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. So it was learning to reprogram myself as well. Like, I can afford that. And money comes. It's like, it's crazy when you set the intention. It works out. You know, I've travelled more. I still get to go and see my family. I've spent lots of quality time with family. My daughter is in Melbourne. My son's in Newman now. So it really is about, well, here's me going off a tangent, is Katie just called me on all the crap, and with all her tools and exercises, just makes you focus and recognise those patterns within yourself so that you start pulling yourself up. So that's what I do now. You know, after a couple of years of working with Katie, I just do it, even without thinking about it. Reprogrammed. And you do reprogram yourself, and you just do it. And it doesn't happen miraculously across all areas in your life. So it's, but I find it has a ripple effect over all areas of your life. So, you know, now I've got my momentum in my work and as an agent, and really comfortable, and I want to lose a bit of weight. You know, I've always been a fit fatty. I go to the gym. And so I just look at my rituals. Are my rituals reflecting my goals? So, and I just add a new ritual in to my day. And
Great.
Yep, or I find an inspirational speaker. Like, podcasts are amazing now. You can listen, you can get onto Facebook Lives, you can, it's amazing. Just talking to people or meeting people or watching a video can inspire you to do better. And Katie, you helped me keep that consistency. And I notice I share it now too, quite naturally with friends and colleagues, because when you see women feeling bad and they're under so much pressure, and I just think, how can I help you? How can I support you to support yourself? And that's what's really important. We can't go running around fixing people. You've got to, because that's what we want to do. We're nurturers. Even with our children, they need to make mistakes. They need to learn consequences.
Can I actually clarify that?
Yeah.
As different to being nurturers, it's actually a dysfunctional pattern to want to fix people. It's actually violating boundaries. Some people get really upset about that, but it's like, it's just because it's learned behavior, and when there's an energetic exchange for valuing your need to be needed, and you do it through caretaking, that's dysfunctional, and that's what most people are operating from. The difference is, like, when you can genuinely serve and you're caretaking, but you'll know, because energetically you're loving it. But if you've got any hint of resentment or obligation, and then you go into passive aggressive patterns because you don't really want to do it, you just don't know how to say no, or boundaries, or well, that's the difference with it. So I wanted to define the difference between nurturer and the role of the dysfunctional caretaker.
Yeah, and also the other thing, even is a nurturer and helping and fixing from a good place and a kind place, and as a mother or a sister, is, again, you're taking away their ability to do it themselves. We can be enablers. We can be nurturers and enablers. We don't have to be nurturers and fixers of everything.
Exactly.
But when, you know, but just with Katie's tools and workshops and everything, I've learnt to take a lot of that pressure off myself, and now I don't have the guilt and the anxiety, or I'm not questioning. I just trust my intuition implicitly, and I just know the right things turn up, and I sleep well. I'm living a good life. So thank you, Katie. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank you for...
Oh, and I've got to go. Yeah. Sorry. It's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to have...
sharing the work.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time today, and thanks, everyone. If you've got any questions, pop them down below, and Helen and myself will jump on in a bit later and connect with you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, thanks, Melanie. Okay. See you, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.